Hi, I'm Ezra Levant, the president of Rebel News. We were one of the few journalistic companies to report on the brutality of the lockdowns during the pandemic. We reported from the streets, including in Montreal, where they actually had a curfew at night. Well, police didn't like that very much, and they kept arresting our reporters. So we sent more reporters, and then more. They got arrested too. Finally, we sent half the company, 17 of us went down there, and we brought a lawyer with us on the streets. Well, the police found out we were staying in a houseboat in the old port of Montreal. It was an Airbnb, and we woke up in the morning and 50 cops were outside. They put that yellow police tape around the Airbnb, and they tried to raid the place. What happened then was a 10-hour armed standoff. Well, they had the arms, we didn't. They wanted to search our belongings. They hated us because we were doing citizen journalism. Now, part one of the movie is incredible. It's what got us into this mess. It's available right now at raid.movie. You can go ahead and watch it, but part two is the climax of the showdown when they actually tried to board the boat. Well, we didn't let them. You know us. We stand up for our civil liberties. We know our rights. Now, part two is available right now. If you're one of the folks who helped crowdfund our movie, you can go right over to raid.movie and watch it right now. Or if you haven't chipped in yet, you can do so and see that part of the movie too. If you don't want to, that's okay. You can wait because we will eventually release both parts of the movie to the public for free. We just want to give our supporters first dibs. That's raid.movie. Now enjoy the film.
They wanted mass compliance. So they were like, we give you a $1,500 ticket. You think twice, even if you know it's wrong that the government is locking you up, but can you afford $1,500 to say that the government is wrong? Most people can't.
What?
Who are you, sir?
I'm with Rebel News. I'm not media Jewif. Who are you? What's your name?
They called us Jew media. They asked if we were Jews. They're anti-Semitic, crooked, and corrupt.
I'm not in a group of 20.
So after 8 p.m., we won't be allowed to go out in streets except for work.
I'm sorry, this is private property. Do you have a search warrant? Then please step off the property. I'll talk to you across the door.
Monsieur, avec le gilet rouge, lui ici.
Oh, I will fight this and I will win this. This is shameful.
No, I don't have to wait for your illegal warrant to get my medicine.
You want to take it or not? That's fine. Okay, but go. Hey, toi, c'est le trottoir.
Our motto is telling the other side of the story. We're also into citizen journalism, which means unofficial. We're not part of the pack. We're not part of the club. And most importantly, we're independent of government. We take no government money. We're not under any government regime. And so when the pandemic hit, we were able to ask skeptical questions. And when the lockdowns were brought in, that was really our time to shine, because I found that the rest of the institutions in public life, all the political parties, all the opposition parties, all the courts, all the media, every check and balance on society failed. They all gave the official narrative. It fell to us in part to provide that other side of the story. That's actually our motto. So we started covering the skeptics, the dissidents, the contrarians during the lockdown. And we were shocked that civil liberties activists for years were suddenly silent. That the media, which is normally skeptical and curious and critical of authority, now embraced authority and became propagandists. We had a young reporter in Montreal. His name is Yankee Pollock. He wasn't even supposed to be a reporter for us. He was doing social media in the background. He wasn't even supposed to be on camera, but he was in one of the worst epicenters for lockdowns in the country. They actually had curfews in Quebec, and they had some different times, but at one period it was from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Whether you were sick or whether you were healthy, whether you were vaccinated or not, you were under a lockdown like you were a prisoner in a prison riot. So Yankee, after he did his day job for us, he just went out into the streets to do a night job of his own volition, just to film what the streets were like. And he had a lawful excuse to do that. Journalists were exempt from the lockdown, but they kept hassling him. The police were hassling him because no other journalists dared to do that. They were just obedient. Only Yankee Pollock, a true citizen journalist, who sort of assigned himself that story, and we loved it because that wasn't even his job for us. It later became his job. He started showing what the streets were like.
Hey, you're back!
I'm back!
Wait a second. You're a frequent flyer.
I am. This is Zoe's dog?
This is Zoe's dog.
Where's Zoe?
So how long are you back for?
6 days.
Good. Zoe is at the daycare working
Oh,
with the kitties.
send her my regards.
All right. Good to see you, man. I saw your
This is the community I grew up in. This is the area I grew up. I grew up in the Myland, Outremont. My school was in Outremont, and my family lives between this area. And if I could show and expose what's happening, I could go a lot of places, and I did go different areas, but I focused mainly here because here I had the support, and I knew people wanted to show the other side of the story. People were asking, show it, and people were willing to talk to me, and people were willing to help me with intel where the police are, which it was very helpful since I was alone. He says he has a note. What's going on?
No, it's expired. It's still end of March.
So could you?
So got to renew it. He's giving me a ticket. Record.
So this is going on. I guess we'll have to see it in court, right? So what we consider incident one is incident one when I received the ticket. There was that night alone, in total, 4 times I was pulled over by police. I've been pulled over a couple of times.
What, you got a letter?
Over a month and a half at that point that I've been out. I was pulled over by police numerous times and let go. It was like they stopped me, asked me for my papers.
Okay, I want to see you, please.
Sure, you'll get my letter.
Wear your mask, please.
It was a Jewish holiday that night. It was the holiday of Purim. There was a curfew in place.
Put down your flashlight, stop traumatizing my kids, and get away from here. Take away your flashlight, yes. Stop traumatizing my kids.
People couldn't celebrate the holiday. At a certain point that night, there were probably 5 to 10 police cars circling a tiny neighborhood with no crime. So I was filming that. I was filming a guy getting a ticket, and then I was surrounded. They looked at my paperwork. They're like, "You're good to go."
Okay. So right now you can stand on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I will. Am I good to go? Is it all good? Okay. And then later that night, I was approached by a few other officers. They were like, "Oh, you're good. Just, stand here, stand there. Make sure your parked good," type of thing. Then I was actually on the way home. I was driving and I saw a car being pulled over. So I decided to stop on my way home and film that interaction and then go home.
No. The government doesn't respect our rights. We have very bigger problems with the government.
I don't know what problems we have.
And at some point, the cops called me over to the car and they were like, "Hey, where's your credentials, or why are you out?" And I was like, Media is exempt."
Why are you in the streets at this
Because I'm media.
Okay.
You want to see my media press credentials again? I'll give it to you. Here are my press credentials, my note.
Okay, and what's the
Rebel News. I've been pulled over like 3 times tonight.
Rebel News?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a news agency based out of Toronto.
And I was issued a ticket for that night for being out.
Yes, sir. I got a fine? Okay, no problem.
There you go. You got 30 days to contest it.
I will contest it. Thank you very
Have a good
much.
day, sir, and,
You too.
Have a good one.
You gave a ticket for a person of the media, is that right?
Good luck with your YouTube channel.
Oh, I will fight this and I will win this. This is shameful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before I started going out, I reached out to the SPVM and I emailed them and I asked them, am I allowed to be out according to your rules? And the answer was like, yes, you need to have your media pass or a letter of employment from your boss saying you're allowed to be out. So I had both the requirements and I only needed one, and they still ticketed me that night and nights going on. I continued going out almost every night, filming, showing the world what's going on, showing our viewers. And 2-3 weeks after the first incident, I was running around, driving around, trying to capture all the scenes. And at some point, I was stopped by a police officer and they asked me what I'm doing. Again, told them I'm media. I'm out filming the curfew.
I'm a member of the media. I'm entitled to be out.
Okay.
I have the right.
I won't give you any ticket today. Okay, I'll just verify when I'm gonna go back to the station if your paper is legit.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah, it's good for you.
And they were not sure if I should get a ticket or not. They were debating. And the supervisor rolled around. I was like, you know, you've seen me, you know who I am. And his answer is like, yeah, I know who you are. And I know you received a ticket 2 weeks ago. You're gonna get a ticket tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get another one.
I'm exempt.
You're not exempt.
I am exempt. We'll see you in court, you know. I have an email from the SPVM that I'm exempt, and I will continue going out.
So they ticketed me. I called Ezra, as I always do. And Ezra was like, you know, keep on filming, you know, do your job and don't worry about it. That's how that night ended. So incident 4 was late at night or early morning, however you want to frame it. I believe it was like at 1 a.m.-ish. I don't remember the exact time. So that night, I was out earlier in the night. I don't think there was much activity. I went back home and I got a phone call or a text from a friend of mine saying there's some activity happening. So I, put my jacket back on and my vest, and I went there to see what I could find, what the cops are looking for. Start filming, what's going on over there. Officer Robert started shining his light at me, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm filming the curfew."
Sir, what are you doing here?
I'm filming.
Okay, so do you have a piece of ID with you?
Yes?
Do you have a piece of ID with you?
Yeah, I'm media.
Yeah, we'll take a piece of ID with you, sir.
Sure. Yeah.
Go on
Okay.
the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You cannot be on the street.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of moving. You're talking to me. Can you not shine at it?
I don't know who you are. No?
I also don't know who you are.
He started shining light and telling me I need to go on the sidewalk. As I'm giving him my papers, this one cop comes out from a different police car, and she asks the other cop, "Is this Jew media?" in French. She asked him.
Okay.
What?
Media Juif, I understand. And she asked that, and I couldn't believe my own ears. I was like, what? And so I repeated it to her, and I was like, no, I'm not Media Juif, I'm with Rebel News.
Who are you, sir?
I'm with Rebel News. I'm not Media Juif. Who are you? What's your name? And badge number. Can you give me your name and badge number? Can you give me your name and badge number? You're supposed to give it to me.
And I was like, right away, what is your name and badge number? And she refused to give it to me. She went back to her car. So I left the one police officer with my papers, and I went to the other one to ask her, who are you? And why are you calling me that? I think she knew what she said was wrong, or she knew that she messed up by saying it in public. Now, after this happened, I was left wondering, what do they call me when I'm not around? What are they calling me in their station or over the radio? And I don't know, because that's what they were willing to say in public. What were they talking about me in private? Because I know officers told me they watch my videos in their police station, they watch it. Again, we were out that night filming. I had some outside help from more rebels. I wasn't alone as usual.
What a typical week looks like for me is usually a 10 to 6. So I'll go into our headquarters in Toronto, I'll video edit, I'll do whatever is handed to me. Sometimes we take on assignments that are outside of the province, that are a little bit farther away. And one of those assignments was to cover the curfew that was in Quebec, specifically in the city of Montreal, is where a few of my colleagues and I headed.
Started in Toronto, now I'm here in Calgary, and like I mentioned, I kind of do the whole 9 yards when it comes to a video and the production of said videos. I'll present the story, I'll seek those who I want to interview, I'll do a lot of the editing, write the article that's attached to the video, write what I'm going to say in the video, I do everything, and that's something that I think is very important.
My day-to-day is pretty much everything, from editing to recording to sometimes doing reports, sometimes training, sometimes flying drones. We covered the Toronto protests very well, and we saw what was happening in Montreal, and we decided to go there.
You speak English?
Do you have any papers?
Yeah, we have papers.
On this particular night, we came across an individual in a particular neighborhood that was pulled over by the police.
That was an interesting night. It was a very cold night. Yankee, Lincoln, Mocha, and myself, we were being driven around by Yankee.
We got out of the car to film this incident. We didn't know exactly what happened at the time, but we spoke to the cops, and I reached out to the miner's family to figure out what happened. Basically, he was out after the curfew. He was from out of town. He didn't really know what was going on with the curfew, and he was just walking home.
Yankee was talking to the officer, or both of them, and he was like, "Hey, so what's going on here? I just want to, assess the situation, report on the situation." And they did not take too kindly to that.
I'm media. I see you guys putting someone in the back of the car. Guys, give the paper.
Long story short, we were held up for about 40 minutes in freezing cold temperatures, only to be ticketed thousands of dollars for simply doing our jobs.
So this is what's going on. They left shining their lights at me.
They called in about 6-7 police cars. We were surrounded from all angles. And as if we were gonna run, we gave them our information. We had no history of running. I never ran away from them. Every time they approached me, I gave them my information. If they decided to give me a ticket, so be it. We'll fight it in court.
I remember I had my jacket on, but Lincoln, he had his jacket in the car, and they wouldn't even let him get his jacket. So, I gave him my jacket for a time.
Can he go in my car?
No, you have to stay there.
Oh.
That night alone was over $6,000 worth of tickets. I believe it's $6,200 worth of tickets. That night alone, $1,500 a pop, $1,550 a pop. They were trying everything to make sure we do not cover them again.
You gotta stop lying. It's my hand. You gotta stop lying. Crooked cops. Oh, shame. We've been through this so many times.
Okay, guys, stay there.
We'll understand now.
Why is he being arrested? He's on public property.
What's your name and badge number?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I'm media.
Levance.
Is your last name?
That's right.
Thank you,
And you
sir.
will get to know me as plaintiff.